pressure can affect you and what kind of symptom you can struggle to sleep. That's why insomnia is one of the symptoms of the stress. You will see that it will affect the way your body is responding. That's why we call gastric ulcers. So, and it affects your immune system as well. So you can't resist against all kinds of disease, of illness coming. That's why you say that stress can create some of cancers. So it's a stress, and people got shocked because of the stress sometimes as well. So there is a lot of things is coming in the life of people because of stress.
The definition of stress, the examples of stress, how to understand stress, how to avoid stress, how to manage stress, or going for a massage. So it's them, simple things. That can you can keep your stress under management instead of just going and taking the pill.
Yo, télévision, parole de l'espoir. Waouh, c'est la meilleure.
Tell someone I live a life of favor. Oh, your praise be you, even come.
Hello everyone, I'm called Benny and I'm here today on Radio Television Parole de l'Espoir. Today I have an invite. Pastor Hubert is here and he's going to talk about health, and he's going to underline some of the things that we face in life and we face at home, school, college, whatever. So he's just going to go over, what it is that, he's here to talk about. And I'm just going to let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Benny, for giving me opportunity, and I'm saying thank you to Pastor Dieudonné for giving me opportunity today to share about this important topic. Today we're talking about health because I know that health is so important. My name is Pastor Hubert Kayonangamaba. That's my full name. I'm a pastor at the Frater Church, Bolton. I work actually with Pastor Dieudonné, who work with me. He's one of us in our church, and for my knowledge, I've got a degree in psychology from Bolton University, and I did my master's at Manchester University, and I did my PhD at Manchester University. So today we're talking about some things important about stress, because I know that God cares about our health and everybody cares about their health. So health is so important. That's why we're talking about that. Why the person should come today talking about stress, because I've been trained. I did 5 years to do my PhD in psychology. So I work for the NHS at the moment. I work with patients, so I'm more involved and I can share my experience and help people who struggle with stress.
Okay, you said stress.
Yes.
Can you define what stress is? What is stress? We hear stress, but what is actually stress?
Yes, that's a very good question. Actually, stress, we call it stress, but most of the time it's related to pressure. It's related to tension. So if we can use a psychology definition, we can say stress is a state of emotional strain or mental or tension resulting from adverse or demanding situations. So it's something you're getting from your upside, from situation you are facing, and that's pushing a pressure or making a pressure on your mental, on your state, emotional state. That's stress.
Okay, you say stress. You've given us a definition of stress, but what are the examples of stress? How do you know if you have stress?
Oh, that's very good. That's very good, because actually our life is more connected with stress. It's connected with a lot of things. So you see in this country, for example in Europe, we got a crowd, we got people who want to find a job. When you got unemployment, that can make a pressure on you because you start to think about it. You want to do something. There is a stress you get when you got that pressure and you can't cope with the pressure. I give the example of unemployment. Someone who got who are looking for a job, someone who find a job, but when he's going to do his job, he struggle to cope with the pressure. You know, in the company, I give like a factory. When you are going work in factory, they will ask you, said, we want to produce 20,000 pack. We have to deliver to Asda, to Tesco, to Sainsbury's, to a supermarket. Pressure is getting from work. It will push him to the limit that he can't support. When you can't cope, it becomes a problem. But actually stress is normal. It's something you are facing because your body have to respond. There is stress related to people, family commitment. You know, people who got children, they can get the stress, the conflict, breakdown, relationship. We got with young people who got friends, and when there's no working in their relationship, that can bring stress in their life. So the pressure can come. So it could be because you got children and you can't manage to look after children at the same time, go to work, so that pressure can affect you to have stress. So
I also remember as well, like, you know, as a student myself, you know, I just recently graduated in July, you know, from a BSc psychology degree. You know, I remember during them 3 times of my degree, it was very, very stressful. You know, like, you know, doing assignments, dissertation, doing all-nighters. I was staying in uni, I would come in like 11, you know, at night, all the way until the next day. You know, that was very, very stressful. So I can honestly say, like, you know, I can relate to this because I know how it feels like, especially having a family as well. You know, having a child to look after, just like you said about work and child, you know, it's very, very stressful. So I can honestly relate to that.
So when you can't cope with that, it becomes very, very difficult. So that's why we talk about the symptom of stress. You see? So it will affect your physical part. Because actually it's your boss putting pressure on you. It could be your assignment, like you said, you got dissertation, you got thesis, you got a lot of things. But when you got that pressure, when you got someone shouting on you all the time, when you come back home, all kind of things, people abusing, they try to abuse you all the time, that pressure can affect you. And what kind of symptom? You can struggle to sleep. That's why insomnia is one of the symptoms of the stress. You will see that it will affect the way your body is responding. That's why we call gastric ulcers. So it will affect your stomach as well. It will have that. Another problem is high blood pressure. What happens actually when you got that stress in your body? You have to respond to the stress. We call 2 kind of things. We call fight or flight response. So response. So that's kind of different response you got. And when you got that kind of situation, you struggle, and it will affect your blood pressure. Because when you decide to fight, it's like someone playing football. You are playing football, you need to run, it affects your body, and you need to respond to that. So another symptom, we got migraine. People have a low headache, they will suffer, they can affect the way they respond, they're doing their job, and it affects your immune system as well. So you can't resist against all kinds of disease, of illness coming. That's why you say that stress can create some of cancers. So it's a stress, and people got stroke because of the stress sometimes as well. So there is a lot of things is coming in the life of people because of stress.
So basically, if we look at it in the sense of if you have an illness, for example, or if there's anything going at home, can that trigger the stress?
Definitely we trigger the stress because it's affecting your immune system. So you can't resist, because usually we face a lot of infection when we go out, when we greet people, when we use the lift, when we go to petrol station. You know, recently when they did the research, they say what the most place when we get germs, they find that it was in the petrol station. So that's kind of thing. So we got that kind of things. But when the disease, when that infection come to you, you need to fight. Usually we fight naturally. We got that defense system. But because of the stress, your defense system will be weakening, so you can't fight that because the immune system is being affected. So stress can trigger a lot of disease, a lot of illnesses in the life of people.
Wow, that is very good. Thank you so far. You know, a bit by bit, we're understanding how stress is affecting our lives, how stress is playing a big, massive impact in our lives.
Yes.
So we're just gonna go down to the basis, and Pastor Hubert is gonna explain the understanding of stress. How can you understand stress? How can you know that I am stressed, or you know, this thing has led to another, and now you know I'm very stressful.
Yes, before to talk about prevention and treatment, like you said, we need to understand the stress.
Yes.
The problem, to understand the stress, we need to go to understand the nervous system, because that's where the stress starts. So in that, usually where psychologists come, because we find out that most of the time when people got problems, what they do, they go in the hospital and they will give them a tablet.
Yes.
They will give a tablet because they are not sleeping, you see, so they can sleep. But they find out that that is not the best option. The best option will be to understand why people can't sleep. It's better to understand that. That's why in psychologists they said, okay, we respect what psychiatrists and physical doctors want to do, but we prefer to understand things and to try to support people. So our role is to help people actually to prevent and to see how they can be treated because of their stress.
We see stress. Stress comes when there's an imbalance of how you're not able to kind of face that problem. So say like now Pastor Hubert has just said about, you know, you say I'm stressed, you go to the doctor, they give you a pill, but psychologists are wanting to understand why can't you not sleep. So it's about targeting the problem, and if there's an imbalance where you can't actually prevent stress or you can't do anything about it, that's when we'll know actually what happens.
Yes.
And he's going to explain that for us.
Yes, there is a big issue actually in psychology. Is most people, they don't like technical words, but I will try to explain to make it so simple. We got in our nervous system, we got what we call sympathetic and parasympathetic.
So
it's
in
just
a way,
opposite.
in a way I could say, in the easiest way to say is the flight or fright response.
Yes.
So it's either you fight against it or you run away against it. I guess maybe that's you know, simple ways.
That's a simple way
to kind of put it.
Exactly. So the sympathetic is the fight response. So when you got that pressure coming, you said, I will fight. And when you want to fight the pressure, automatically your blood pressure will go up. How? When you see you want to score the goal, you are playing football, people like football, you see that you want to run faster. And when you want to run faster, your blood will run faster. And so your blood pressure, you know, because that adrenaline will push you to do things faster. That's the first part. But you need another part, that is the fly, actually to cool down. That's why in the treatment, prevention of stress, there is a lot of things we are asking. We are asking people to switch off. That's the terminology. It means you've been busy doing things because you got pressure because of your assignment. You got pressure from your work. What you need to find a time to rest. Usually, naturally, God are helping people to have time to sleep. You see, when you've been busy during the day, at night you can go to sleep. You are sleeping to give your body a rest, so it's opposite to the time you've been running quick. So it's important for you to have a time to rest. That's the first thing. You need enough time to sleep. There is a lot of people struggle today with their stress because they are not sleeping enough. They are working, and when they got the shift at work, they said, we need someone who can work at night. They said, yes, I can do it. And we want someone who can work during the weekend. They said, yes, I can do it. They start to work from Monday to Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, they should rest. They should get that, what they lost back, but because they refuse to give that rest to their body, that stress was built during the week will be affecting their body. That's why they got problem. After that, they got blood pressure. they got problem with, they can't sleep. There is people who got all kind of, because it's affecting your immune system, so you can't resist against all kind of illness, you become unwell. People say, you got that cancer, how that cancer came? Because of the pressure you had, because of the stress, and you didn't give enough time for your body to rest. That's why you got that kind of cancer, because we can get all kind of illness, like I said, everywhere, with all kind of things we are doing. But when you got time to rest, that can help you. Another thing, prevention treatment for the stress, you need to seek help. So people can say, okay, I will relax. You can go to visit the park. That is so useful. There is people who like relaxation. You want just to rest. You see, sometimes it make a massive difference for people like music.
Yeah.
When you play music, maybe a quiet music, it cool you down a bit, because you switch off from things you've been thinking. Now you can think on other things. So switching off, it make a massive difference. Then other people will say, okay, I will go in a retreat. For example, for pastors, for people who go business, they said, no, I will go on holiday. I will always ask people to find time to go on holiday, because you got 12 months, you've been working hard. In all companies, they will give you 1 month to rest.
Yeah.
But people said, no, at that month I've got something to do. You go and you start going, and your body said, I can't cope with this anymore, and you collapse. There is people go stroke. When they ask, where do they get their stroke? But because their body can't cope anymore, that's why they can't give enough oxygen to their brain. That's why they collapse. So we need to understand that stress can create a lot of problem, but the key is to give rest. The key is to relax. The key will be to make a difference in our life. Yes. I'm saying that you can do a lot of things. Relaxation. We got massage. Is so important. There is people don't like to say, oh, how I can give my body, people get massage. Because when you get massage, you got a quiet place and they make a difference. And music, like I said, visiting a park, going out, encourage usually couple to have a time where they can go out. It make a difference. Even, I know that you can make a cup of tea, you can have a coffee at home, but when you go out as a couple, you switch off all the pressure you got from children, and it make a difference. You can find your friend to get, you can go with children, but if you see that children still a cause of stress for you, so you can ask your friend to look after children, so you can have time, a break, 2-3 hours, a break that can make a difference. There is people, we need to look at our good relationship. So if you see that in a relationship you got people who are like a cause, who are always bringing stress in your relationship, so you need to look how you can manage that. You can find good friends, and you can try to avoid that. If it's your husband who is a source of stress, you can understand why is always we got that problem, so you can avoid the problem. And there is another issue. You can look at your diet. The diet is so important. Like I told you, the stress can affect even the way your body can work. So there is people who struggle today. They said, oh, I become too big, I can't lose my weight. But the source could be the stress.
Yeah, and we do see it in a lot of people where, you know, they're so stressed, you know, but they still eat.
Yes.
You know, they'll eat and eat and eat and won't watch the diet, what they eat.
That is a coping strategy for them. They said that because I've got too stressed, I have to smoke, I have to drink, I have to eat. So you see there's people when ask him, why do you smoke? He said, I smoke because I got a lot of problem. So for them, they said that the coping strategy will be to smoke. Unfortunately, when they smoke, it affects their health and they become unwell. You see, so our diet, the way our lifestyle can make a massive difference. There is other people, because they can't smoke, they can't drink, what they do is to eat. They eat a lot of things, and that is affecting their health. So it's important for us to manage. And what another thing is to give time for other people, volunteering. So you see, we find useful that when you are serving other people, you get something. Usually in my research, I publish a paper on a European Journal of Public Health. I look at determinants of subjective well-being to look what kind of things can improve our well-being. So one of the things we saw, it was health, financial satisfaction, we saw freedom of choice, but we saw even giving time, friendship, giving time to other people. So it makes a massive difference. And you need to seek help. Go to see your doctor, go to see your GP. Say to him, I can't sleep. Say to him, I'm so tense, I'm so angry at the moment. When you see people, they can't cope at home. There is a small things, they just explode. It could be because of the stress they got at work. So you can manage that at work. You can see what the source of the stress and how you can manage that. Talk to your manager and try to discuss to say, look, I can't cope this anymore. I don't want to do the overtime because I need time with my family.
Well,
So,
things like that, stress in the workplace. You've just mentioned about, working and going and speaking to your manager. In every single job, especially stressful job,
Yes.
where maybe you're working. You say you work with the NHS, you work with patients and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm sure there is things in place at hospitals, workforce, that can actually help people if they do get stressed. They can go and speak to I think that's one of the things that we have to outline, the fact
Yes.
that in workplaces there are people that you can go and speak to.
Definitely, yeah.
Even at the hospital, you don't
Yes.
just have to go and see your GP to get
Yes,
a pill, like
yeah,
you said.
yes.
Maybe just popping by and just saying, I just need to speak to someone. Don't you think?
yes, that is important, because that's why I said you need to talk to your manager. Say to your manager how you are feeling, because if you got problem at home, you need to tell your manager. Most of the managers, they've been trained. They said to them that if someone got the stress, they know that it will affect the health of the employer, and that will the employee, and that will affect that person to become sick and not to produce what they should do. So it's important you to talk to your manager. There is in a place in most companies, like you said, there is a support, so you can get support. At school, you got, for example, I want to highlight how people can avoid stress. So, for example, you find that is your children bringing stress to you. How you can avoid? Try to talk to your children. Say to them, that behavior is not helping me. So, listen to them. Why they behave in that way? So, if you try to go around, that can help you to avoid stress. And know that there is people can cope when they got stressful events, stressful situation. But when it's too much for you, please don't keep for yourself. You need to talk to other people. There is training. We give training. For example, with my knowledge in stress, what we do now, we are planning to give training to churches, different communities, people who struggle, who don't know how they can cope with a stressful life. So we can give them training, we can advise them, and we can support them. So there is a lot of things around how people can cope with stress.
Well, thank you very much for that. I think we've all understood very well, the definition of stress, the examples of stress, how to understand stress, how to avoid stress, how to manage stress. Just like Pastor Hubert said, it's just simple things like going on holiday.
Yes.
Just taking 2, 3, 4 days out from work and
Yeah.
just being with the family, or going for a massage. So it's them, simple
Simple
things.
things, yeah.
That can you can keep your stress
Yeah.
under management instead of just going and taking the pill or just getting chopped at medication or anything like that. So it's simple things that we just need to kind of know, and we'll be able to manage it, and there will be that balance of managing stress, even though you're stressed at the workplace, but you will know how to manage it. You will know kind of how to deal with it. So thank you very much for coming
welcome.
to the
Yes.
studio and honestly helping us to understand stress, and hopefully we will all know how to manage stress.
Yes.
And the most important, how to prevent it for ourselves, for families, for our kids, So may God bless you all very much, and God bless you as well, Pastor Hubert.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
that was a great time. Thank you.
you.
Radio Télévision, parole de l'espoir. Waouh, c'est la meilleure. Vous ne serez pas...
Tell someone I live a life of favor. Oh. Jump.